Hello everyone, good evening. I'm back with some another interesting technology. And I would also like to tell you that from my next video, I'm going to start a series of videos on the topic cybersecurity. And let us learn cybersecurity right from the starting till the advanced concepts. So today I'm back with a topic called NFC technology. Today, let us explore more about this particular technology. So the term NFC stands for Near Field Communication, and this is a type of communication which is making our life easier. So in today's video, let's understand what is this NFC communication is all about, how does it work, what are the various modes of operations, what are the modes of NFC, what are its capabilities. Then let us compare this NFC technology with the existing Bluetooth technology. Then let's understand the advantages, disadvantages, and applications of this particular technology. And then let's conclude today's video. So as you can see, what do you mean by this near field communication? So near field, as the name suggests, it is a set of communication protocols which help in communication of two electronic devices which are present within a distance of 4 centimeters or less than 4 centimeters. So name itself suggests you it's a near field communication. So the distance between two devices must be less than 4 centimeters. And the second most important thing is it is a method of wireless data transfer. So using this particular technology, you can share the data between smartphones, tablets, and other devices when they are in close proximity. That is 4 centimeters or less than 4 centimeters. Then you can share data through NFC technology. And the second most important thing is this particular technology is based on inductive coupling between two antennas which are present in NFC enabled devices. For example, my device is enabled with NFC and there is another device which is enabled with NFC. When these two are when these two undergo an inductive coupling, then you can see the effect of this particular communication. Now, as we understood, what do you mean by NFC, near field communication? And the name itself says that it is a very short range wireless connectivity technology. Now, coming to its specifications, this particular technology operates at a frequency of 13.56 megahertz, and it is based on RFID technology. Recently, I've also made a particular video on this RFID technology. So to understand more about this technology, you can check out that particular video. And this NFC communication will help us in a data transfer rate up to 424 kilobits per second. And here, the reader and the tag will communicate with each other, and they are promoted by a forum known as NFC forum. Next, now we got a clear understanding of what is NFC, what are its specifications. Now let's understand how is this technology working. So basically, this NFC helps in the process of communication when there is an NFC device and there is an unpowered NFC chip. And this unpowered NFC chip, we call it as tag. So that means for this NFC communication to happen, you need an NFC device and you need a tag, and they communicate with each other. And this particular technology builds upon RFID, as we discussed before, which is known as radio frequency identification system. And that happens with the help of two-way communication between the endpoints. When these endpoints communicate with each other, then the NFC is built up. And if you see, the difference between the earlier systems and right now is, earlier systems, the communication was one way. Now, when we are using this NFC with radio frequency identification, it is a two-way communication. And now you can also see here, Google Wallet. It is a thing which will actually help or allow consumers in order to store their credit card, loyalty card information. They can store all this information in a virtual wallet. And then in order to access that particular information, they can use this NFC enabled device so that they can ensure the safety of their details, at the same time the safety of their wallet. So you can see here, coming to the modes of operation. NFC generally operates in two modes. One is known as active mode and the other one is known as passive mode. Let us clearly understand what is the difference between this active mode and the passive mode. So if you see here, you can clearly understand in an active mode what happens is both the devices with NFC chip will generate the electromagnetic field. That means both are equally active and both are generating the field and they are exchanging the data. Such mode we call it as active mode. Coming to the passive mode, you can easily guess. So what happens in the passive mode? In passive mode, only one device is active and whatever field is generated by that one particular device will be used by the other device in order to exchange the information. And that kind of mode we call it as passive mode. Now, this NFC communication has three different modes. Those modes are peer-to-peer communication mode, reader or writer mode, and card emulation mode. Let us understand these three modes in a clear detail. So first one, NFC peer-to-peer. So in this communication, what happens is the two NFC enabled devices can communicate with each other. They can exchange the information. That means in peer-to-peer communication mode, both the devices should be in active mode only. And both the devices should generate radio waves. So you're clear, right? In peer-to-peer communication, both the devices must be in active mode. At the same time, both the devices must generate radio waves. Example. So if you're sharing some information through your smartphone, my device is in active mode. At the same time, the other device is also in active mode, as we saw in the picture previously. So that's the best example for peer-to-peer communication. Next, NFC reader or writer. So what this does is, this actually enables the NFC-enabled devices in order to read the information which is stored on those NFC tags. So it can either read the information or it can also write the information. Coming to the third one, NFC card emulation. So what happens in this particular mode is, it will allow the user to perform transactions such as payment or ticketing. So you're clear, right? There are three modes: peer-to-peer communication mode, NFC reader or writer, NFC card emulation. In peer-to-peer communication mode, both devices must be active and they generate radio waves alternatively. In NFC reader or writer mode, this mode will actually enable the NFC-enabled devices either to write the information or read the information which is present on the tags. And coming to the third one, NFC card emulation mode, this mode will actually help in order to perform any kind of transactions such as payment or ticketing. Now, what are the capabilities of NFC? Now only we discussed, right? It can help us in peer-to-peer communication. It can help in emulation of a credit card. It can act as a reader. And when we compare NFC, it is quite different from that of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And we can also use NFC for social networking. Now coming to the examples where we can use this NFC communication. So you can see, you can use it for the payments like Google Wallets. You can use for transport like boarding pass, parking lots, etc. You can use for access control, like you can access your buildings with NFC phone and contactless reader. And even in healthcare and consumer electronics, this NFC will actually help in accessing the patient's health factors so that we can take some immediate actions. So these are all the various examples where NFC can be implemented and used. So now, as I told you previously, we are going to compare the NFC with that of the Bluetooth, right? So we know that both NFC and Bluetooth are relatively short-range communication technologies, and these technologies are usually available on our mobile phones. Now, what is the major difference between these two technologies is, the NFC will actually operate at a low speed when compared to your Bluetooth, and also it has little shorter range when compared, but the advantage is it consumes less power and it doesn't require pairing. So this is one of the major difference. Okay, it has low speed, shorter range, but it doesn't consume more power and it doesn't require pairing. And second most important thing is, when compared to Bluetooth, NFC sets up more quickly, but the speed with which data is transferred or the data transfer rate is lower. With NFC, instead of performing manual configurations in order to identify the devices, we can establish the connections between two NFC devices automatically. So this is one of the major advantage. And the most important thing is, I told you that there is a difference in the transfer rate, right? So the maximum data transfer rate for an NFC, that is near field communication, is 424 kilobits per second. And when we talk about Bluetooth, it's around 2.1 megabits per second. So we say that the data transfer rate of NFC is less or is lower when compared to that of the Bluetooth. Coming to the, before going to the advantages, you might be questioning me, like, even though there are some disadvantages or there are some complications with NFC, why do you prefer NFC? So one thing I would like to tell you is, based on the application that we want, we can either choose which technology is the best one for us and which will help us in the best possible manner. So based on that analysis, we can go for which technology we are going to opt. Coming to the advantages with this NFC technology is, it creates good convenience to the user, because whenever we are bringing two mobiles together, immediately the data is being exchanged and the communication is secure. Any third-party application is not at all required, and we don't require pairing. So there is no need for search and pair procedure. Coming to the disadvantages, I told you that in NFC, the distance between the two devices is 4 centimeters or less than 4 centimeters. So that is the major limitation. And second most important thing is, we discussed that the data transfer rate is very less. So that is also considered to be one of the limitation of this NFC technology. Coming to the NFC applications, this is what we discussed with the help of examples in the previous slide. So as we discussed, we can use it for social networking, we can use it for identity and access tokens, we can use for e-commerce platforms, we can use for sports, we can use for smartphone automation and NFC DACs. So these are the various ways or various fields in which we can go for the application of this particular technology. So now we discussed what is NFC, how does NFC work, what are the two modes, and then what are the three different modes in which NFC operates. Then we compared the NFC with that of Bluetooth. We analyzed advantages, disadvantages, and the applications of NFC technology. Now let's conclude our presentation or our video with this today. So NFC is one of the short-range wireless technology, and it is majorly built on many of the modern smartphones, consumer electronics. It helps in transfer of data when the devices are physically close together, and it can also actually act as some electronic identity document or key card, which will allow the access of that particular documents. So this is the conclusion of this particular technology. I hope you all enjoyed this video. You got to learn something new about this NFC technology. From next video, let's start our series on cybersecurity. I'll meet you in the next video with the basics of cybersecurity. Until then, signing off. Keep watching my videos. Keep liking, share, and subscribe. And whatever you feel and what topics you would like to learn, please do mention them in the comment box so that I'll check out them and I'll surely try to make the videos on that particular thing. Thank you so much. Have a great day.